All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Monday morning Global Heart Resonance. And just stepping in this morning, as you can see, I'm trying to be outside. Hopefully the sound is working. Looks like we're good to go. Thank you. And I'm Shirley Darling, and here to host this call with Good of the Whole. And the invitation here this morning is coming into this participatory call is a weekly practice that we come together and gather. Something that we've always said is really gather at the oasis or this watering hole. And we're coming together in synergistic emergence and coherence as planetary stewards, living for, embodying and expressing ourselves as whole beings as we contribute to the whole of humanity. And together we are focused on cultivating this ethos of wholeness, because for some of us that have been really playing in this field, what we've discovered is when we as human beings experience wholeness, there isn't a sense of separation. We don't even need to be thinking about separation. It's simply this moving experience of love and consciousness as it's influencing itself through us and as us. So here we're coming together this morning to intentionally build a field of coherence together. So for those of you that are new, the way this call works is really simply, we always start with a heart attunement or a heart resonance. And I'm here this morning with one of our Heart Resonance Council members, June Steiner, who has gifted us with this focus, today's reflection, and then a few guidelines, and we'll open the call to all of you. And simply, if you're on a cell phone, you can download the app and therefore see all of us. We invite you to be a part of this living tapestry of love, as well as if you're on the computer, you can click up on the right-hand corner and be in the gallery mode or the speaker mode, up to you. So again, this invitation is to stay in and focus on what's emergent in the field. So with that, I'll open with a heart resonance attunement, inviting you all to simply close your eyes if you feel like it. If you want to keep your eyes open, that's fine. And just relax into your natural breathing. And just slowing down. And on this call, we invite a pause to step into, for a moment, this morning, this silence. And in the silence, we're completely interconnected to this web of life. And allowing yourself to move with that. And fully embodying and grounding our energy as a collective down into the mother, imagine just an umbilical cord going down into the crystalline structure of the earth. And as we're breathing, we're acknowledging the full gnosis of our being as her voice. And as we breathe out into our heart, we're also very aware of this toroidal field of movement that's being received down through our crown and in through our body. This energy field, this information field that we're so diligently aware of, receiving, And through our exhale, breathing out and influencing this field. And becoming aware of this circle here this morning, these beautiful, as Nancy always says, reunion of our lights. And with that comes this deep grace in relationship to the ancestors and all this living information. So we're opening to that here this morning. This collective field that we call the unified heart field. And beginning this morning in gratitude for how you're showing up, the level of presence that you're expressing, and this collective co-creative experience that we as mentoring stewards for the good of the whole are bringing forth here this morning and carrying into our day and into our week. So with that, just inviting you to come fully present here in this group. Thank you for joining us. And just a few simple guidelines, and then I'm going to hand over this beautiful talking feather to June to open our call and invite you all in to participate. So simply the way we hold the banks of this river of consciousness on this call is to, when you're sharing, speak your name, speaking from essence, and sharing your direct experience, sharing the bottom line of your story. So we're speaking from 1 to 2 minutes. So this can be a fluid field that we're developing here. And you may speak more than once, but allow the pause. So we invite you to pause in between each person to allow that integration to happen within your consciousness, within our collective body. And follow the thread, listening for that thread or that rippling wave of what's moving, the thematic reflection that's moving through the field here. And this morning I'm going to add one more piece. So it's really, our tendency to want to edify and acknowledge each other and who's speaking. And we'd like to invite you here this morning that instead of giving kudos to the person who might be speaking, and is to hold that essence of the whole. And just simply, if you're being influenced by what someone's saying, to take a breath, to put your hands in a pranam, or just simply to connect with your heart and keep growing the field of the whole, because the tendency then is to, all of our attention goes to that one person. And so here we want to feel this undulation of this emergent field. So we'll play with that one here this morning and to consciously listen. So with that, June, I hand you this beautiful talking feather here this morning. Welcome everyone, those that have jumped on late. And we're here, this beautiful topic, the four-chambered heart.
Good morning, everyone. I'm June from the Bay Area in California. And, as we move into resonance, we also move into our heart. And so today, in talking about the four-chambered heart, I want to bring you some very deep, wonderful information from Angeles Arian, a teacher that I worked with for over 30 years. It's called the Four Chambers of the Heart. Our hearts contain four chambers that hold the ingredients and gifts of love. They keep our love in balance and remind us that we can be in the gifts or the challenges of the heart. Our heart is our connection to ourselves, to each other, and to spirit. When we are connected with love, we're in resonance. When our hearts are closed, half full or confused, we don't see others as they really are. We see things from a place of separation, scarcity, fearful of taking a stand for ourselves, and that discourages our growth and creativity. The open heart allows us to stay present to ourselves and others, no matter what the circumstances. This encourages curiosity, positive movement, and creative solutions in any situation. An open heart creates safety and keeps us connected and together. The clear heart keeps us aware of what is really so for us and allows us to communicate in truth to others. It allows us to have a ground of being to stand on or with. It shares with others what we're feeling and where we are. The strong heart keeps us in our strength and self-esteem and encourages us to take a stand on what matters most in our lives. The strong heart carries courage and risk-taking and is required if we are to stay in our power in relationships or in leadership. Love without power creates a victim. Power without love creates a tyrant. The full heart gives us the gifts of fulfilling relationships with ourselves, others, and with spirit. It brings beauty, creativity, and delight into our lives. It is the source of abundance and generosity. How do you experience, embody, and express these four chambers of the heart and the gifts that they offer? And now I'll pass my little tiny feather back into the circle. Thank you.
Just a quick remembering is for those who are coming on late that the default is mute, so you'll have to unmute yourself. Thank you.
Good morning, all. This is Kate in South Dakota. I'd like to pick up that little feather on the heels of that. As June is speaking about the open heart and speaking with clarity and authenticity, it reminds me of how it is our well, Don Pett would say it's how we're addicted to the way we're thinking, but it's our animal brain that has caused us to see everything in those black or white terms. It's always been yes or no, the duality thinking. And when we can start opening our hearts and speaking from our hearts, we can move beyond that place in our brain that has caused us just to be in that dualistic place. And we can almost like witness ourselves moving beyond that. I feel like that June's as you speak about the four chambers of the heart, and as we move into that heart space and are able to communicate from our open hearts, we can move beyond those reactionary places that have caused us to have all this dualistic thinking. So that's kind of where I felt like it was taking me, and I'm really grateful that we can have this open-hearted sharing, and I'm going to return the talking feather past feather.
This is Sharon Raji Maynard up on an island in the Pacific Northwest. My personal journey began in a very patriarchal system, loving patriarchal system. And as I relate to this model, that open heart, inappropriately open heart, was that place I began where I was to serve. And I could just serve. And whatever I was asked to do, I was to serve. And I was to obey, and that, saying that was love. But it was out of balance as I have gone through my own journey. And for me, that clear heart, which for me denotes be deciding for myself, what are my values? What stories do I want to incorporate, not incorporate? Getting clear. I call it discernment. It's the discernment that was missing. That for me, when I began to add that piece, then I could more clearly, from my own inner core, discern what was mine to do and what was not mine to do. Where was I to be and where was I not to be? And so for me, that open heart opened inappropriately without the clarity can really trip women up. That in my work, that's where I have, where I'm able to say, where's your discernment? What is yours? What is not yours? Work that out so that there is an ability to be open to what is mine, as well as to acknowledge and know what is not. So I really appreciate this model, and blessings. Thank you.
This is Sharon in New Jersey. And I'll pick up there because I feel that was a beautiful segue, like the open heart to the clear heart, and then to the courageous heart. So that courageous heart, if you do have that clarity of your own, where you are, where you stand, then the courage to speak that and to be in your power seems like it's next. And if you don't still have that open heart, it's like the balance does need to be there with the open heart, so that there's still the connection, so that you're not like having to feel forceful, like I have to defend or protect, but I can be so clear and I can be so courageous or have such a clear voice that I am able to stay in a place of connection and still speak. So I don't know, it's a tricky place, and I'm open to hearing more as to the navigation of the strong heart into the full heart. Pass the feather.
Good morning, Nahid from Boulder, Colorado. I am present to the words of confused heart or clarity of the heart. In my personal experience, I never thought that heart can be confused or can not be clear. What was brought up about discernment, the confusion, the clarity, the discernment, these are all the properties of the mind. And I understand our mind is talking about the heart. I would say that is part of my experience and my teaching. Those 4 stages, they have been awakening of the heart, opening the heart, centering in the heart, living the heart. So it's like that, the last one, the fullness, the full experience of the heart is just the heart being our hearts, being the access, the beacon to the vibrational field. I don't have the experience that my heart has ever been confused or not clear. It is my mind that as a veil, as a mask, not to feel the pain of the heart, it would create that protection. And so when we choose to awaken it, the first stage, then the next stage would be open it. And I, in a different way, I put it, those 3, 4 stages of the awakening, opening, centering, and living in the heart is kind of somehow is parallel with the state of our mind, which it is victim consciousness, ego consciousness, surrender consciousness, and creator consciousness. So it's like, I don't know, maybe we're talking about the same thing, but we all bring our individual unique experiences into that. Thank you. I am complete.
This is Cassandra, and I pick up the feather. I'm contemplating the heart of the sacred activist, that one who is called to help to move energy forward, to stimulate areas of life that are sluggish, that person who has deep communion within his or her own purpose, and yet finds that there are times when we run into a wall of resistance from others. And how does that sacred heart respond to that when we believe with our complete consciousness that we are working towards the greater good for the whole? And so there is a balancing act that we find in life and in service. And I would like to honor that among those of us present and those we have known who have diligently sought to co-create change in the world. I'm sure we all know someone who does that eloquently. Thank you. I return the feather, and I am complete. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is John, Boulder, Colorado. It's amazing how the energy field, the resonant field, is truly present for all of us. Everything that has been said so far this morning. I wrote a long piece this morning right on this very topic, and I didn't know what the topic was going to be. Nevertheless, what it brings to mind for me is there's a classic artist drawing, painting of the Christ figure with the broken heart. And the heart is slightly bleeding, but it's opened because it's broken. Now, fear keeps us from being willing to have our heart opened because it's painful. And yet, the breaking of that heart, the opening of that heart, is what allows us to experience the resonant field, which is the field of love. And when we defend ourselves, when our capacity to use the fear in order to defend what is, and afraid of change, then the heart really does not open. And so therefore we get concretized into ways of being that our ego, if we want to use that term, defends. I look back at the times when my heart was broken severely at times, and those were the moments when I had the visceral sensation of being connected to everything, because I had nothing left to hold on to that defined me in my separation. I was broken. And so being willing to open the heart, and I say a broken heart, and I don't think a broken heart means to tear it into two. It means to break it open from its defensive position to enter the field. When we do our centering here in the mornings, I can feel that love energy pulsating through all of the fibers of my being, and I know at that moment that I am connected to the source of everything, and it's because I remember at some point those moments, those painful moments that have been transformed into a clarity and an open heart of consciousness. I think that's what therapy is about. I feel like that is what our growth as consciousness seeking beings is about. And therefore, when I open my heart personally into the resonant field, I trust with all that heart that resonant field is available for everyone at every moment. And I feel like that's our mission, is to simply live that open-hearted life and let it affect as it affects, and without putting any restrictions on that as to you have to do this in order to experience this wholeness. So I pass over the stick at that point. Thank you.
Excuse me. This is Henry in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I guess what was just shared reminded me of forgetting the name of this composer or writer, but it's through the breaks, it's through the cracks where the light shines through. So I think also this topic kind of brought me to the different experiences of the heart center, and to the experiences of giving and receiving, which we're doing here, kind of in a deep way that it opens to that experience. And just for me, kind of in a bodily sense of opening to what the gesture is when I am receiving, what I am experiencing in my heart, or in the gesture of giving. And also similarly in forgiveness. So it's like a different gesture. I mean, it is a giving, but when I experience in my body forgiveness, there's a different alchemy, there's a different gesture that's happening. Or in gratitude and appreciation, there's again another different experience. So for me, I guess maybe it's the mystic in me is kind of opening to understand, to support, to experience all of that as I open my heart, as I open my understanding, as I open my discernment and wisdom. And I guess there are other, I'm not thinking of other part. Well, intimacy and authenticity, again, is something that invites a certain gesture, a certain alignment within the heart. When we bring that through and we can cultivate, or this has kind of brought me to seek out and to understand when that's happening, because I'm opening to greater intimacy like what we have here, and a greater authenticity so that who I am can shine through, and that's through this doorway of the heart. And I feel complete.
Good morning again. This is June, and I've been sitting here thinking about the heart and the mind, and how it's a partnership. It's not one or, because the heart offers us these incredible gifts, and the mind either directs us to the positive side of the gifts or to the negative side of the gifts. And so if my thoughts are open and my thoughts are full of love, then I'm in my open heart, I'm in my full heart. Whereas if I'm in fear, or I'm in doubt, then I will go into the confused heart. So it's like I try to keep this awareness of where my mind is leading me, so that I can move into the positive parts of the heart. And it's always so clear if I will take the time to stop and say, if I am confused, what is it that's keeping me confused? And generally, it's that I don't want to look at what's real. I don't want to look at what's true. It's easier to stay confused. And but when I'm willing to stand up with my courage and my strong heart, and really ask for or say what I believe and what I know, then my confusion goes away and my heart's clear. But my mind is also clear. So it's this partnership of the two. And just a simple word that creates a thought, whether it be joy or whether it be love, any of those things can take me into a space, either positive or negative. And so for me, the four chambers of the heart are a map They're a guide. They're my innermost reality, and I need to use my mind in a very positive, open, exploring way so that I can move into each of these chambers of the heart and really experience the fullness, the openness, the strength, and the just all of the gifts that they offer. Then I experience true resonance, true joy, true, I'm sitting in the middle of myself when I can sit in these 4 full chambers. So just got me thinking about how the partnership of the mind and the heart go along with each other. And I'm complete, and I pass the feather on.
This is Shelley, and what's moving through me, and within this pause is sort of the awareness of how people speak about the heart. And I feel like maybe I can claim my expertise here, having a pacemaker and having gone through numerous heart episodes, and having a heart that where the atrium wasn't connecting that electricity to the ventricle. And so we have we have our physical heart. And then people talk about our higher heart, which lives somewhere up here in our physical body. And here we speak to the heart field, that field of intelligence that's governing, is really the governing and compass of what's pulling us into our highest potential as individuals and as a collective. And also how this experience here, it's very fascinating because we do have different experiences and we do have different opinions of those experiences. And what's so really magnificent about what I'm visualizing right now is the field of the heart it's this undulating, radiant, vibrant energy. I think we have to call it energy. It's energy. And so it's the place where all truths are true. If you know what I'm saying. It's like when we're in the experience of this heart field as what's been being expressed, there is no separation and there is no confusion. And there is that sense of just moving slow enough so that we can stay in relationship to this moving experience that we're calling the heart. Without our physical heart, we're just spirits, right? It's a conductor, it's a governor of our experience. And it supports this circulation of consciousness, flow, and energy that connects with light to bring forth sort of really a humbling, the humbled heart. I guess I'm bringing in a new piece. It just the humbled heart, you know. So I just want to acknowledge everything that's moving today in this field. That again, there is no right or wrong. It's simply what your consciousness is needing to further and foster this experience of love, right? Because the heart is a conductor of love. So I don't know, I just feel like just that invitation to allow ourselves to move beyond our own horizon and stand at that edge of the unknown. That's the beauty of this call, at least for me. It's like I get to every moment, each one of you speaking, I'm standing at a new horizon of information that's taking me to a greater whole. So that here's the other, I'll leave with this, the whole heart. You know? So thank you, everyone. I'm complete.
Hello again, this is Cassandra picking up the feather. I love the thought that we can stand on the edge of a new horizon, because that when I allow myself to be in that field completely immersed, or some days it's only a partial immersion, I feel change within me, opening, becoming more receptive. My heart becomes softer, more willing to experience whatever serves my highest good. And that is very satisfying, and I'm grateful for that opportunity every time that it comes forward. Thank you. I put the feather back in the center, and I'm complete.
Hi, this is Deborah. And I've just returned to the desert west of Tucson from a run over to San Diego to visit the ocean. And I camped in the California desert for a night. And yesterday morning I woke up and I began to sing and drum to the sun as it rose, with a drum that I had just made. And in the midst of that process, my heart broke open. And it was very unexpected for me. And tears came and a prayer came. And what I realized in that process, I hadn't realized that my heart was not as open as I thought it was. Or I hadn't realized that there was more that my heart could open to. And it was such a gift. It is the broken heart piece, and so I'm kind of backtracking, but it was an incredible gift, and I am complete.
Hello, this is John here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm going to take all video off because it seems to be a very weak signal. I feel a lot of tears in this moment, and tenderness and longing. That um, I think that I have had the experience of a broken heart, confused heart. No, confused mind that was not able to listen to a heart that was broken in many ways. Um, you know, dynamics of family and unintended consequence of kind of loving that was not inclusive of who I was in my essence. And for me, um, comes forward is this. So, mm,
Hey, John, this is Shelley, and
making up
we're listening really deeply.
certainly
We're having trouble hearing you.
calling that my mind was not able to hear for decades.
This is Sharon again. And I just want to say that in that experience of deep listening and not quite being able to hear, but of that the essence of what John was saying was coming through, and it broke open the field that I was experiencing in a new way. And I felt a deeper, stronger connection to everyone. And it felt like the only response, since I couldn't fully hear, was simply to be present and in a state of communicating love. And I think I could see that on in all of us. So I did want to acknowledge that experience completely.
Thank you. I just want to hold open the field a little bit earlier today because there's a lot of us on and a lot of people that haven't gotten to share. So if we, those of us who have spoken, can continue what was just being shared about simply being present and holding the banks of this river so that it can flow for those that haven't had a chance to share yet. Let's do so and be in that deeper pause together. As those who haven't shared, please join us and simply say your name or if something's inspiring you, and don't forget to take yourself off mute. Thank you. I'm complete and putting the talking feather back in the center.
This is Dinama. I'm witnessing our co-evolution of the unified field. This is our oneness in motion. Everything here is that expression and is living it into life from the place of heart intelligence. So I just am so filled with joy and gratitude that we are here in this place together consciously, co-evolving the unified field and living from that place of unity. I'm complete.
Good morning, everyone from Southern California. This is Nancy. Feeling so much at peace being with you all today. I've always experienced the heart kind of more like not necessarily 4 different chambers, but more like on and off, open or closed, love or fear. And so it's been interesting to ponder. And I find myself with an open heart, a full heart, all 4 chambers of the heart in sync when I'm connected to other heartfelt people. And what I'm learning, like this call, is just heartwarming, I guess you could say. And but what I'm learning now is maybe having that stronger version of the open, full heart and being able to be in situations where we're not all co-creating together consciously at the moment. I'm sure we're all together, and then finding myself still with an open heart, still being able to smile at a stranger, still being able to raise the frequency of a room. And it's a really exciting evolution of my heart journey. I'm very grateful to have this time every week with all of you and take you with me all week long. I am complete.
I'm just going to check one more time if anyone, I know Nancy was having a hard time unmuting, so if anyone needs to be unmuted, they can just simply put a chat, just let me know in the chat box. And other than that, we'll just wait another moment to see if anybody else wants to come forward. And then we have a beautiful ending or conclusion or cycling into a new moment in the end of this call, so stay tuned.
Good morning, everyone. This is Karen in Costa Rica. I just thought I'd come in and presence myself and say how grateful I am for the call. This was a wonderful, deep call, and I wasn't getting a lot to share, but I did want to at least say hello and presence myself, and thank you all.
So we honor everyone who is shared here and our beautiful resident council, Beauty, June, for bringing this forward. And if you have come on just simply by seeing the Zoom number, because we do publish that before the call, please go to Good of the Whole and sign in. You can go to the Heart Resonance page and sign in so that you can receive weekly these resonant reflections and stay connected with us as a community, become a mentoring steward. You can learn about that as well. We, in fact, this Wednesday is our public mentoring steward call. So please come and join us and learn how you can step in a deeper way and really expand and express this field of the heart that we've been so speaking to this morning. With that, I'm going to invite everybody to unmute yourselves. And the way we end this call is with really ripple out this energy of the heart field, this intelligence, through a really simple, beautiful choir of yum. See you next Monday.